Hello, Mgtow. Hello, man. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna try to see this so I can. Yeah, let me view this on YouTube so I can kind of see. There we go. Now I got everything. Hello, man. Let me wait a few seconds for people to come in. And there we go. Make my things. Hello, man. Hello, Bob the Monk. Hello. Let me put that up. Hello, man. It's Sunday morning, and this is my usual spot on Sunday morning. And today we're going to take a look at. I think it's an important subject in Mgtow, and it's. Let me do this first, guys. Go your own way, Mgtows. Go your own way, Mgtows. That's important. All your sins are forgiven. All your sins from the oops, let me get over there. All your sins from the past are forgiven. Go your own way, man. Go your own way. It's the only way in this world. But going your own way is pretty. It's pretty. Hello from Salt Lake City. Hello, Bob. Hello, everybody. Going your own way is pretty hard sometimes, and the world wants to change men. You get into a relationship and they want to change you. The society wants to change you. They want us to be less aggressive. They want us to be more light and fluffy. There ain't nothing light and fluffy about this guy, and I know you feel the same way about yourself. There ain't nothing light and fluffy all inside of here. It's a pretty rough bark. But the world wants to change you. And my father used to say, don't fix something that ain't broken. There's a good example of this in my life. And there's going to use some sports analogies today, too, because since it's Sunday and since it's football day in America, we'll do some sports analogies, too. And we'll see how things that shouldn't have been fixed got fixed. And now he fixed the shit out of it. That's what my father would say. We had this motorcycle when we were a kid, and it was running kind of rough. So one day I was a kid, I was like 14 years old, and started it up, and it was running rough, and I started taking things apart. All boys like to take things apart. By the time I got home, I had that whole engine taken apart, and it was laying out all over the garage floor in little rows and little areas, which I had marked. And my father walked in and he said, well, you fixed the shit out of that. Don't fix something that ain't broken. And he walked away, and I started to put together. By the time I put it back together and cleaned everything up, it didn't run. It wouldn't run. That motorcycle never ran again after that. I sure fixed the shit out of that, didn't I? Them are the lessons we learn about cars, about women, about us. It's lessons in life. Don't fix something that ain't broken. The whole world's going to try to tell you, Mgtow, that there's something wrong with you, that you're broken, that there's something wrong with men in this world. And we ain't broken. There's a whole shitload of life coaches. Wash my glasses there. There's a whole shitload of life coaches out there, like Coach Eli's and Coach Greg and all the life coaches from the PUA gang that I was watching last night on Antiqua Cars or whatever he calls himself. The Rollo Tomasi and the self-help guys and the thing, all talking about Mgtow. And these guys know nothing about Mgtow. A true Mgtow knows that he's the greatest thing that walks the face of this earth. A true Mgtow knows that he's the apex predator on this planet. You're a male. You're a human male. And that's the best thing that walks on this planet. And I think Mgtow should start looking at that and say, man, there ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't broken. But the whole world wants to fix us, and that further complicates the problem. It further complicates everything from social media to regular mainstream, lamestream media, to people in our lives, to people we love and people that we bring around, to women, to everything. Everything thinks that the The alpha male, the American male, the male in this society is broken. There's something wrong with it. They'll even call it names, toxic masculinity and stuff like that. And they have no clue what they're talking about. They have no clue what they're talking about. Mgtow, don't fix something that ain't broken. You're about the most perfect thing that ever walked this planet. You're about as close to a god as it gets on this planet in this life, and there ain't nothing wrong with you. Don't fix it if they ain't broken. Today I'm going to watch the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, the dumpster fire up in Cleveland that's been going on so long. Every year we call it the dumpster fire because every year they change coaches. This year they changed coaches again. We had a perfectly good coach. Last year we started winning. For the first time in a long time, we rolled off a long line of wins, and Greg Williams was the coach, and Freddie Kitchens was the assistant coach, or the offensive coordinator. Drinking some Sumatran coffee today. Hey, if you're going to buy beans this year, buy them Sumatran beans. They're huge. So John Dorsey went to work. He traded for Oliver Vernon. He traded Kevin Zeitler. He got rid of Brashard Perryman. He let him go, and he brought in OBJ. And what other moves did he make? He got rid of Seth Duvall, which is the backup tight end, which right now our tight end is out and could use the backup tight end right now. Our offensive line looks like shit because you traded away an all-pro center, and Brashard Perryman is the guy who won the game against Baltimore last year. We're going to face Baltimore this year and probably going to lose because John Dorsey did one thing to the team that didn't need to be done. You were winning at the end of the last year. Greg Williams, as coach, was fine. It was working for the first time in a long time. It was working. But John Dorsey, the narcissist, went to work. He traded away a bunch of our players, and he changed the coaches, and everybody's wondering why they're losing now. Don't fix something that ain't broken, idiots. It's my sports analogy for so don't fix something. When you got something that ain't broken, you don't need to fix it. Don't fix the lawnmower if it's running fine. Don't fix your bike if it's running fine. And especially don't fix yourself, Mgtow, if you don't need to be fixed. Let me look at what happened. Tommy says what happened to Howard Dare. I don't know what happened to Howard Dare. Howard Dare left, and that's it. And he got married, or he was married, or something like that. Hello, Swine Dog. Swine Dog's got the Cleveland Browns, and he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking today about John Dorsey. Don't fix something that ain't broken. And Greg Williams was fine, and now we got to go through breeding another coach here in Cleveland. But that's a life lesson, and that's a Mgtow lesson, and Mgtows think this way. There ain't nothing wrong with you, Mgtow. From the day you're born to the day you die, you're the apex predator as a human male on this planet, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the whole world hates you, yeah, because you're hunting them. The losers always hate to be losers, and they always want to be winners. And the only way they can drag you down is to convince you that you need something fixed. And you don't need something fixed. You start working on this, all this up here, all this in here, and all this in here as a Mgtow male, and you're going to become just like them. And that's what I see in PUA and those idiots, and the guy that did the true Scotsman fallacy, which you got to be a Scotsman to do a true Scotsman fallacy, you ass. You just know a Mgtow when you see a Mgtow because he's not apologetic for anything. I'm not apologetic. I'm not dressing myself up in girls' clothes and shit. I'm not dressing myself and over-masculating myself in leather and shit. The author of not the Rolling Stone magazine, Motorcycle magazine, the last issue he put out, he wrote a little story. And the story goes like this: there was a biker event down in Cincinnati, and It's a hated story by bikers too, modern bikers. Uh, there was a biker event, and they went in, and he was riding his last. He was the author of Motorcycle, whatever that magazine was. I can't remember the magazine. That was the big magazine back in the day for motorcycle sports and stuff like that. And he says, he told this story. He says, we're riding down from Cincinnati on a charity drive, and there was two bars. He says there was a motorcycle bar and there was a gay bar. And they said, well, hey, we'll probably just do them both. And everybody stopped, and we'll take over that gay bar and the motorcycle bar. So he says he went into the first bar, and he looked up and he says, man, these guys had all kinds of pins and buttons and little frilly stuff on them. They're all dressed in leather like a bunch of fags. And he said it was too hard. He said it was just too hard to watch. There was a bunch of emasculation and a bunch of guys that were acting like fairies. And he had to leave that first bar that he went in. And he went into the second bar, and it just so happened the second bar was the gay bar. All that over emasculation and stuff just looks silly as a man. But that's what they want you to do. They want you to dress up in little frills and buttons and leather jackets and bullshit, and you look like a freaking clown. Don't fix something that ain't broken. Man, this is a pretty thick leather, and it looks good on me, and I like living in this skin. I like living in this skin. And that's where you got to get in Mgtow. You got to like living in the skin you were born with. And that's doing those introspections. You don't have to dress up in tough looking stuff with silly pins and buttons and leather jackets and all that garbage and everything. They're just trying to recreate what is freaking perfect. Yeah. It's what we used to call putting wheels on something. Some guy invented this comes from the printer. The printer, they invented the printer, and they put it on the table, and there was a big lawsuit about this. And I think it was Xerox or someone invented the printer, and they put it on the table, and they said, that printer looks fine, but the next company that comes in says, we got a new printer, and they put wheels on the bottom of it, and they said, our thing, and they thought that was that was putting wheels on something, and there was there's a big lawsuit about that, and they said, no, you just took the printer and put wheels on it, and you stole everything they did. But that's what they want to do to men. They want to put wheels on you. Want to take something that's essentially perfect, freaking perfect. There ain't nothing wrong with this, and put wheels on it. And once you start putting wheels on something, man, it's just taking something that was perfect and making it less perfect. And that's what I'm saying today. Don't fix something that ain't broken. Don't go for that PUA garbage. There's nothing wrong with your thought process. What you're seeing out there is real. You don't need to change yourself. If you're an incel, you just get used to it, man. None of this PUA garbage is going to help you. We had a lot of attacks this week on the monk Mgtows, and the monk Mgtow is, all that dressing and peacocking. Yeah, all that dressing up and peacocking for female attention just makes you less of a man. And sometimes that's a way to cover up what's wrong with you. Sometimes with Mgtow monks, we look deep down inside our souls and deep down at ourselves, and we address the problems. We see the problems, and we say, man, that ain't a man. I'll become the man I am, the best man I can come. And the only way you can do that is by shutting all that blue pill bullshit out there and becoming the best man you can become, the man you were supposed to be. There ain't no peacocking that's going to help you. There ain't no framing, the keep in frame and all that garbage that is going to help you out there. The problems with what you were taught your whole life and people trying to fix you. You got to unfix that fix bullshit and just become yourself. And that takes a deep look down inside yourself. That takes a real deep look down inside yourself as a Mgtow. That's where we find ourselves. That's where we find our real selves, our authentic selves. And there ain't nothing like a man that found his authentic self, because he's the boss and he kicks ass in this world. And that's where Mgtow's going. But you know a Mgtow when you see a Mgtow because he's unapologetic about what he says about this world. And that's where Mgtow has to go back to. All the peacocking, all the bullshit, all the frilly buttons and leather and dressing up like girls and getting yourself a doll. All that bullshit ain't going to work. All that ain't going to work. That's just overthinking the situation. That's like John Dorsey overthinking the Browns and replacing things that didn't need to replace. And he was just fixing the shit out of something that was working. Fucking beautiful coffee this year. We had Sumatran coffee come out. And Sumatran coffee beans are about, I swear, they're about that big. They're like huge and they're delightful tasting. I just bought a shitload of them for the winter, and I'll be drinking Sumatran beans all this winter. If you roast coffee like I do, I like roasting coffee. Sumatran's the best, and I've been enjoying it for the last month here. Fixing things that aren't broken. I don't fix my coffee pot if my coffee pot's not working. You know, if my coffee pot's working fine, I'm not going to do a Tim Taylor and over motorize my coffee pot and blow it up. And that's what that one was about too. Tim Taylor was fixing things that didn't need to be fixed. If you watch that show, I can't remember the name of it. But we do that often in our lives. We come into Mgtow and everybody's telling us there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, Mgtow. You're the most perfect thing that ever walked the face of this earth. Jesus. I mean, look at this. I mean, look, man, it don't get prettier than this. I don't care if I'm toxic. I don't care if they don't like me. They don't like me because I'm better. And that's where you got to get to, Mgtow. You're better. And they're not going to like that. Urban Meyer's. Yeah, Urban Meyer's got sick. Ohio State's kicking ass this year. I wish the Browns were more like Ohio State. And God, I wish there was a Mgtow sports page. I might do Mgtow sports, open up in the morning, maybe 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings and talk about sports, because we sure need a Mgtow sports page. Mgtow and a Mgtow attitude in this thing. I look at Baker Mayfield this year and they're ducking the question. Why isn't Baker Mayfield playing good ball this year? Well, jackass, he got married over the summer. He's estrogen filled now. He looks like a retard now. You look at his pictures from last year and you look at his pictures from this year, and he's got that Down syndrome look on his face from being married and injecting too much estrogen in his body. And that's what I tell these guys. When you're around a woman 24/7, you start taking in all that estrogen. And that's what happened to Baker Mayfield. He's nothing more than a regular guy now. The Baker beard is gone. He could grow the Baker beard back, but that guy underneath is a 20 less IQ guy with a lot of estrogen running through his body. And until they fix that problem, he's not going to be no good at football, or he'll be average. AB's going through the same thing. You see that crazy AB talk? Man, he's going through the same thing. He got together with that girl down from Ohio, and never marry an Ohio girl. That's what RG3 found out too. He married a Maple Heights girl. I could have told him that would have been a big mistake, having a Maple Heights baby mama. You know what's wrong with RG3? That mama of the baby mama was a well-known NFL gold digger baby mama that got somebody else. I can't remember who she got. She was living in Maple Heights, and she raised this little girl to be a NFL gold digger. And then RG3 came along and thought that was going to work out. Son of a bitch. And that's the kind of talk we need in this nation. Is Mgtow sports talk where we tell the truth about things. Man, I know a simp when I see a simp, but you ain't allowed to say I see a simp in the NFL. You ain't allowed to say all those guys. They got the feminist club over there telling them what they can say and what they can't say, wearing pink shoes and all that stuff, and they wonder why that football has declined. and kids aren't watching football anymore, and kids aren't playing football anymore. Pretty soon they'll have to bring that down to 8 guys on a squad in high schools because no kids want to play the game. Too many rules, and they're fixing something that wasn't broken. It was never broken. It was a man's sport, and we rack each other's up once in a while. And yes, once in a while we hurt each other. But now we got special rules for special boys. Even Josh Allen can play football. And he's the biggest millennial I ever seen in my life. But well, Baker Mayfield was supposed to be that cure in Cleveland, but they estrogenated him, and now he's looking more like a faggot millennial than a football player. Well, that's with too much estrogen. Eat meat, take some zinc, and rotate that estrogen out of your system, Baker, and start throwing the freaking football before 3 seconds. Go ask Bernie Kosar about that. Mgtow sports, cool idea. I do like the idea of Mgtow sports, swine dog. That old days where Barbarossa said he don't like sports, so everybody said they don't like sports. Well, look what happened to Barbarossa. He's gone. He's out of Mgtow. He's gone out. Yeah, and he's got married or whatever. It has LTR, and that's what you get. You know, if you're not playing sports and you're not doing things that are manly. The other day, I took a bag of baseballs. I got a bag of baseballs, and I took my bike and my Harley, and I threw them on the back of the Harley, and I rode down. I pedaled my ass down to the baseball diamond, and I took a pillow with me, and I put the pillow up against the thing, and I walked in, and I threw balls all day. That's what I did. I threw them as hard as I could at the pillow on the baseball diamond on back because no one was using the baseball diamond. It's overgrown and the kids aren't even using it. I was thinking, what a pathetic sight in a neighborhood like this where the kids aren't out on the baseball diamond every day. When I was growing up, that wouldn't have happened. I don't know what's wrong. Video games are pretty good, but fishing and baseball is pretty good too. And at least that gets you out. Kids don't have it. Yeah, I got my e-bike, Jetty. I call it my Harley. And oh man, that's a big fish. You just put that up there? Nice. Nice. When did you catch that? Yeah, Mgtow sports. We need Mgtow sports. You know why they created soccer and football in England? Because during the Victorian age, all the boys got estrogenated, and they all started dressing like dandies, and then that turned into dressing down like women, and they all started wearing girl stuff, and then one thing that happened there, and syphilis went around, and they all started acting like sissies. They had cod pieces because they had to wrap their penises in bandages, and then they started, oh look, it looks bigger now, and so they invented soccer. So the boys started playing soccer instead of looking at the girls, and it increased the manliness of that problem, and it increased a lot of the social diseases, and it decreased a lot of the social diseases, and it increased the masculinity of the state, and that's why they invented football. And to this day, I see the same thing going on in our society. We wonder why the boys are estrogenated. You wonder why the boys are dressing up like a bunch of fairies. Yeah, no sports. Get them out there on them baseball fields. And man, my brother teaches baseball, and he does a good job at it. And all my family loves sports, and like I says, ain't nothing wrong with us, and we ain't fixing that thing. And but nowadays, I don't know, we're gonna have to invent another sport like rake fighting or something. Amish rake fighting, maybe that'll go over big. Leaves a lot of cuts on your face. Amish rake fighting. So that was my thing today. That was my video today on Saturday morning. I'm gonna try to get some guests in on Sunday mornings and try to do that back up again. If anybody wants to come in and talk, just let me know, or or email me or text me or whatever. And I want to put the Sunday show back together. It's important that we have a Sunday show that's a man's show here in Mgtow, because I don't know what's happening to Mgtow. There's a lot of PUA, there's a lot of peacocking, there's a lot of fairiness, and there's the alpha males disappearing from Mgtow, and that means with the alpha male, a lot of good sense is going, because our IQs are 20 points more than most of those guys. And we're losing it a lot around here, but we can fix it. We always do. We go through these things every year, couple of years, and we see a bunch of boys come in and start acting, puffing their chest out, acting like they're the next Neo and they're just the next Zero. And and we got to go through it. But Mgtow's always going to be a Mgtow. And like I say, you know a Mgtow when you see a Mgtow. He just looks different. He acts different. And he acts like a freaking man. I watched that show yesterday, Antiqua Cars or whatever his name is. He was arguing with Greg Williams, the other life coach. Life coaches arguing with life coaches, and that's more drama. But that's what the PUA gang. I looked down and said, that guy's married, that guy's dating, that guy's they're all pretending like they're these. You know what it is, and I said it yesterday. Man, if Mgtow becomes like every other frat boy at every other frat boy in the world, there ain't no Mgtow left, because that's the new norm. Mgtow's about being out of the norm, not in the norm. That's what red pill is. You're out of the norm. You're not in the norm. Those guys act like every fat boy, every young kid that I ever seen in my life that was just about to split V. He's going to go pick that, hit that, and he's going to show everybody how much of a man he is, filtered down through a female split V. He was validating himself, and that's all I see with those bunch of clowns over there in PUA, Raleigh Massimino, or whatever his name is, Antiqua Cars, and that whole cast of jackasses they had on there giving men bad advice. And he's arguing with the other side of this thing, life coaching by Greg Adams and Coach Eli. We don't need life coaching, because, man, don't fix something that ain't broken. You're the most perfect thing that ever walked on this freaking planet, Mgtow. And don't ever forget that. And when they start saying when they start saying you need some life coaching by PUA or life coaching by the next life coach, what they're really saying is they think there's something wrong with you. They think there's something wrong with masculinity. And there ain't nothing wrong with this masculinity, and there ain't nothing wrong with the rest of your masculinities. We are Mgtow for different reasons than they can ever imagine. Bunch of queers, bunch of faggots. Jesus. I hate PUAs and I hate those life coaches. And if they ever met me in real life, I'd rip their freaking head off. Get me all wired up. And what we need back in this Mgtow, all up in here, is some men talking again about real men things. But that'll take Mgtow shredding itself of all these creeps and weirdos and life coaches and PUAs and the next Neo that comes along that's beating his chest, telling you how many women he's got. To be a Mgtow monk, it's about your etiquette. You don't talk about those things. You don't make that the issue, because that ain't the issue. There's a lot more issues in this world, and they ain't about the split V. It's about men. It's about them trying to change us, trying to change something that ain't broken. And that's what this is about. So I'm going to get ready. I've been going 29 minutes. I got no one in today. So it'll be a short one today, and it'll be a short one this Sunday morning, unless I can start getting guests in. So when the life coaches come around, man, and the PUAs come around and they start telling you there's something wrong with the way you are, you just tell them I ain't fixing something that ain't broken. And man, you guys are a bunch of jackwads. And that's the way I feel about them. Man, I hope you have a good day. I'm going to get ready to watch some football. And that's what I'm doing today. And I hope you're doing something. I got to pop Dougie outside, finish my coffee, run up to the store, and yeah, I'm going to pedal my Harley up to the store and go do some fun stuff. And that's what Mgtow's about too. It's about just doing what you want to do, man. Everything in your house is your house because there ain't no one changing it. You don't need validation from a woman. You got yourself. If I sit there and talk to myself, I'm talking to my favorite person in the whole world, myself, me. And I like me. And that's what Mgtow does, because all my life they tried to break down the me and me. And they wanted to replace it with something else. They wanted to see something that was a little less toxic, a little less, a little less manly. And I needed to fix that. I needed to get back to being me, but that was just finding myself in the eye in this world. And that's what Mgtow will give you. It's not a hard process. Just look deep down inside and say, man, what did they do? What did they do to me? They fixed the shit out of me. They fixed something that wasn't broken. Now I need to get it back. And that's what Mgtow will give you. You'll get it back. You get to go home again. And that home's right here. And that's all I got to say, Mgtows. And I hope you're all having a good day. Find yourself. That's where you'll find true happiness. Do whatever you want to do. And let's do it. Go your own way, Mgtow. All your Simpsons from the past are forgiven. And that means my Simpsons too. Have a great day. And remember, just be yourself. That's the most important part. And thanks a lot for coming around, men, each and every one of you. Most of all, thanks a lot for being Mgtow. Mgtow.